I was reflecting on my schooling. At several £1,000s a term, Alpha School was an expensive facade. It was fake. All of it. There was not one person in the place who was authentic. Every single one was acting a part. Teachers developed personas. Boys became known for things. It was a place of bone-crushing handshakes, relentless verbal and physical aggression. The school's alpha male philosophy, a giant tractor beam I did my best to avoid being sucked into. The school a conveyor belt for swaggering shits. We were taught that we had already won. We were taught that we were better than anyone else. We were primed to compete endlessly with each other, and it was exhausting, placing me in a survival mode that took years to fade. Humanities were paid lip service by the headmaster, but his weekly assemblies left us in no doubt where his real enthusiasm lay. Old boys who had gone into finance, business, and government were welcomed as returning heroes and given the floor to tell us about their 5, 6, or sometimes 7-figure incomes and the 5, 6, or sometimes 7 mistresses they maintained alongside their wives as slideshows of their cars, private planes, and second homes played on the big screen alongside footage of them doing weights in private gyms. Exams were stepping stones to money, not an opportunity to show learning. Reflecting on any subject in any depth was deemed a waste of time. I would like to have been encouraged to apply myself, to see my academic potential. I'd like to have had a go at applying to Oxford, but all of my teachers were Hectors, not Irwins, and looking back the idea never entered my mind. I only ever wanted to be a writer. Making the mistake of revealing this to my father in my teens, he laughed and told me I would never make any money. I argued back, naming several authors who had sold millions. Anyone can get lucky once, he answered. Why not me then? I suggested. No, he replied. He couldn't have hated it more when I proved him wrong. A year out of college, the publication of my debut novel, Student House, according to my mom, made my father drink 3 bottles of wine and start whimpering like a dog. The publishing industry responded, newspapers reviewing it favorably as an uproarious satire of late 90s Britain with its outrageous depictions of young people drinking alcohol and pursuing sex. I made no royalties from the book, yet it drove an even more sizable wedge between me and my father. Gleeful word came from my sisters that my mom hated it too. My success blasted a Grand Canyon size hole in the cornflake-sized world of her mind. She would introduce me in public as her famous novelist son, as if she could personally take credit. In private, she took great pleasure telling me to get a proper job. My second novel was my middle finger response. Coward Ball, a satirical attack on the sport of rugby league, written in stream of consciousness style, told the story of relentlessly driven coach Barrie Deltoids and his team, the Bramfield Bastards. Their run in the Challenge Cup faltering, Deltoids introduces an aggressive new tackling technique and insists the team follow it if any of them want to be contenders for the Man of Steel. Deltoids orders his players to ram their fingers into the a-holes of every player they tackle to unsettle them. A new motto chalked on every changing room blackboard. Hunt the anus. Any player coming back in at halftime without brown fingers was pinned to the wall and given the hairdryer treatment. It was all going well until 2 things went wrong. Deltoids, whose penis-related dressing room banter often got a bit much, was boasting about the reputed size of his cock, as if that automatically made him brilliant at sex, when he let slip details of his methods. The Normanton Normals, their opposition in the final, subsequently trained themselves to enjoy having fingers inserted in their holes when they are tackled, to the point the Normals captain stops the match midway through the first half and petitions the referee to change the rules from cycles of 6 tackles to 24 so more of his players can get involved. As the Normal substitutes openly plead with their coach to be allowed on the field by shouting the words "poo fingers," the bastard star player pecks burger tires of the relentless confrontation and starts quoting poetry he has memorized as he takes the ball into chest-high collisions, and with Deltoid's vision of his own masculinity completely destroyed, he sprints down the Wembley Tunnel, boards the team bus, and drives it back up north without a single comfort break, ditching it at Leeds. Bradford Airport, he flies abroad and never comes home again. They find him pretty quickly, he just never wants to come home again. The team bus left at the airport becomes a monument to the idiocy of mankind, its endless prioritization of competition over cooperation and winner takes all, win at all costs bullshit, with the message of winning not being everything. Especially if your version of winning means the planet blows up.